Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Monday the 23rd of October. We've got our tables in front of us here, and New Zealand Swiss continues to be the dominant currency pair here to watch. We've got Kiwi Swiss downside potential. Obviously we traded that short last week. We ended up taking profits on that move, and there could be potential for further downside. We'll go take a look at that market. Swiss franc strength is still something to obviously be aware of. This time we can look at potentially Aussie Swiss again, and potentially CAD Swiss, CAD coming on the tables as a weaker currency at W3. Euro coming up as a strong currency as well. Euro Kiwi I quite like, as well as Euro Oz. So we're going to take a look at all of these pairs featured here today. But before we do that, we're going to jump into what's on the slate today. We don't really have much in terms of data, very low impact data. The only thing that we probably should be aware of overnight, we've got manufacturing PMI and services PMI over in Australia. Now, for the rest of the week, there's quite a lot of high impact data. Tomorrow, there's a lot of pound data, PMI, manufacturing PMI, services PMI. There's actually some Europe PMIs coming out as well. I don't know why that isn't featured as high impact. Let me just change that here. Yeah, you can see we've got French, German PMIs coming out as well. And we've also got speeches from ECB President Lagarde. So Euro could be one to watch going into this week. But yeah, lots and lots of high impact data coming up this week, which means that the market may shift a little bit risk off. We'll have to keep note of that. If we do see any changes here, we may see the yen appear on the strong side of the table. That means that the risk off potential is in play, so we'll keep an eye on that particular market. Going into the markets then, so let's go head over to New Zealand Swiss first of all. We were obviously short this market last week. We were targeting this 5200 low. Prices come into that. We've opened today. If I just go into the daily chart, and you can see today we've opened bearish as well. We tested Friday's high, continue to push a little bit lower here. The only problem I've got with this market at the moment is that we are at support. You know, if we breach support as well, there's not a lot to go off beyond this level. If I just go to the monthly chart and zoom out a little bit, my chart only goes back to 2004, so I've got nothing to really work on beyond that point. The only thing I could suggest is maybe watching the ATRs of these currencies, and then having a little look at how far price moves within that ATR. Going on to the 4-hour time frame, you know, price is breaking to the downside. We could be looking at a potential move here where we look to see price break down through this swing low here. Stop losses covered above this previous high, and again just kind of look to see how far price can advance in this sort of structure at the moment. So there's a potential for us to look for a breakout there. That is quite an aggressive entry, I would say. The reason why that is aggressive is because we are at these key lows. So if anything, I would prefer to see price come back a little. You know, let's say price came back towards the 5,300 area, and New Zealand Swiss was still on the tables. We could look at that being a sort of resistance zone, and then price could potentially rebound and come back towards the 5,200. The reason why I prefer that is because we can see where price has been in the past at that point. Here we're kind of predicting the sort of future in terms of where price could eventually go, and we don't really have any information beyond that point there. So I would be very interested to see if price could come back towards the 5,300 level, or at least back into this zone here, where we've got obviously an area where we had a little bit of a stall in price before continuation. So that would be a nice area to look for opportunities. Going on to Aussie Swiss then. So Aussie Swiss featured on the tables as well. Aussie Swiss definitely in this bearish downward trend. This is the weekly chart. Sorry, I keep forgetting to put this on, and it is on my notes to do so. Apologies guys, because I want to show you obviously where we're at on the chart. Let me see if I can find the watermark button so that I can get this on for you. So Aussie Swiss weekly chart, we can see that we're in that sort of downward trend. We can see we're in the primary phase. Okay, we know we're in the primary phase because we've got primary phase, secondary phase, primary phase, secondary phase, primary phase. We've got the lower highs as well as the lower lows going on here. So expecting that sort of downward continuation. Now I do have a level down towards 55.75. That level, if I just zoom right out, comes pretty much from all this price action in here, but more from a daily chart point of view. You can see that sort of spike into there. So that's where that kind of derives from on this particular market. I like downside Aussie Swiss, I do. We've got these kind of supporting lows. Now, obviously, this was the area we were looking to target on some downward moves. We just didn't get the opportunity to kind of trade that market. We were looking for pullbacks, didn't quite get it. So we're kind of stuck with or limited to what we've got here in terms of kind of further downside. The only thing I can think of, again, is almost like waiting to see if we can get maybe a bit of a breakout of the lows. Stop loss can be covered by the highs there. The risk to reward on this is negative, though, if we were to wait for that. So nothing really to do here for me right now, but I am going to watch to see how price reacts in and around this area here. The reason being is because obviously that is an area where we kind of went sideways before breaking lower. So if we did get a retest in there, can we maybe look for a short for a potential down to that point? I'm just going to set an alert on this one. It's not sort of the cleanest of charts, to be honest. I prefer Euro Kiwi, so we'll go take a look at that one in a moment. Heading on to CAD Swiss then. So if I just bring back the tables, CAD came on the tables as one of the weaker currencies. So really interested to see if that weakness can develop this week. So CAD Swiss, we can see obviously we had kind of like a rebound up here. Price then traded to the downside. I was looking for pullbacks to 66.80 previously, but that looks like that's not going to come to fruition. So might as well delete that here. You can see that we've traded through multiple levels of support on this weekly chart. So again, I'm just going to change that. Sorry guys, I've just realized because I've tabbed the currency pairs at the top for the first time, it's obviously not carrying on the watermark, so there we go. So yeah, so the weekly chart pushing to the downside here. What do I like about the 4-hour time frame? Not too much at the moment. Again, it's quite price has moved quite away, so I need to see price kind of pull back into the sort of areas of interest. So looking to see if we can get some kind of further downside towards 6400. Obviously that's a really good support point. Looking left, you can see lots of buying came in down here, so I do expect price to come down towards this 6480, 6475 handle. So that would be ideal. It's just how do we get on the back of this? I think if we're going to try and trade this, we need to see a lower time frame potential move, perhaps another move back up towards the recent swing high. If price came up into the recent swing high, rejected it, then maybe we could look to get short with a profit of 64.75. So again, I'm going to set a bit of an alert on this market just before that high. If price can reach it, I'll look to analyze and see how price reacts in and around that level. Let's head over to Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi, I really like the look of, to be honest. We've come into these previous swing lows. We had a nice reaction there. This was along with that sort of Kiwi weakness towards that 176. Last week we had a really strong bullish close. I like the idea of targeting this 183.75 high, so I'm actually looking for opportunities to get into this move. Very strong bullish trend going on here as well. If I was just to kind of throw in a trend line support, you can see we're very bullish here at this current moment. So I'm going to look to see how price reacts. Can we get a bit of a pullback? You can see obviously we've had a bit of a build up, price pushing to the upside here, so I wouldn't mind seeing a move back towards this area so that we could look for a potential long opportunity. If I just actually put on the hourly 50 MA as well, we're just floating underneath that area. So what I'd like to see is a couple of closes, maybe a pullback, maybe a bit of a retest in there, and then we could look to target that 183.75. This looks really good, especially from that sort of weekly point of view. Very strong bullish candlesticks. Daily charts looking very bullish as well. My only concern is obviously when we do get quite large sort of weeks, we do tend to have a bit of a pullback on that particular week. So, you know, there could be a chance that price breaks a little bit more towards the 1.8 handle, maybe even the 1.7950, where you've got this zone going on here where that sort of consolidation is. At the moment, though, price seems to be ignoring that. So this might be one of those currency pairs that just continues to push higher. So that's why I quite like the idea of maybe looking at an alert back at this previous high in here. What we can potentially do is look for price to hit into this level here. We put a buy stop at 1.82 and look to see if price can trade higher. We'll put our stop losses below the swing low and see if price will push to the upside there. So in theory, what we're looking to do is essentially buy if price kind of continues to push on the way up. If it's pulling back, what we'll do is alert goes off, set a buy stop order at 1.82. We're going to have a stop loss which comes beneath the low there, so about a 65 pip stop loss, and then we're going to look to see if we can target that 183.75, which, you know, by the looks of this is a good risk reward ratio, 2.6 potential to have there, and we'll look to see if we can get traded into that one. So remember, wait for price to hit the alert, wait for price to dip below the level, buy stop order. Hopefully then price will catch that order on the way back to the upside. So I quite like that one there on Euro Kiwi. To be honest, I think this is a good market to potentially look at for a opportunity. Moving on to Euro Oz then. We can see here that Euro Oz trading to the upside as well. I quite like the idea of price continuing to push to the upside, potential with 1.7 resistance. If I just move that up to there, you can see around about that 1.7 handle are those previous swing highs. I like the idea of price potentially pushing towards that area there. Let me just delete these alerts because these are not particularly needed anymore. But yeah, nice bullish weekly candlesticks. I like to see that sort of weekly momentum continue. Daily chart has broken into sort of that new sort of high there. Again, I quite like the idea of seeing price come out. You can see I've had quite a lot of sort of alerts on here looking to see if price will pull back. You've got this 1.67 area in here, which are the previous daily highs, and I think if price was to pull back into that level, that would look quite nice for an opportunity long. Whether we get that is a different question, because this would obviously mean that we're waiting for a couple of days at least to see something pull back. But I am going to set an alert at 167 with the opportunity to look for a buy into 1.7. The other way we can look at this is very simply very similar to Euro Kiwi. We've had this consolidation. Price is breaking out of the consolidation now. If we were to see sort of a continuation of that, then, you know, I'd expect maybe a retest back down towards this zone for a continuation to the upside. So alert set maybe 167.80. If we get a pullback and the alert goes off, we can look at buy stops at 67.90 with the opportunity to try and trade towards that 1.7 handle. So I do quite like this market as well. I think obviously Kiwi's weaker at the moment, so we're getting that momentum behind the Kiwi. But this is also a good market, I feel, for potential upside. Finally, then we have Euro CAD. This is all going to depend on how the CAD plays this week. Obviously, strong bullish weekly candlestick last week. Can we see that momentum continue up to the next level of resistance? We're kind of trading in a bit of a range. You've got sort of the highs around about the 1.5, 1.49. You've got the lows down here around about the 1.4250s. You've got this kind of minor low sort of going on within there as well, around about 143.25s, 143.50s. We've just breached 145 highs, so price could act as kind of support here and see price continue to push higher. I'm not as confident in EuroCAD as I am in sort of Euro Kiwi or Euro Oz. You can see the sort of the daily candlesticks here. You know, they're not sort of as aggressively bullish as Euro Kiwi, Euro Oz, so it's not my most favored chart to look at. And you know, if we go over back to the tables, CAD is W3, so you know, W3 isn't the sort of, you know, the strongest. It's sort of like the halfway baseline of the table. So really speaking, we should be focusing Kiwi, Aussie weakness, Swiss, Euro strength at this current moment in time. So I think that's what we're going to focus on going into this week. Euro Kiwi, definitely a chart that I really like the look of. Kiwi Swiss obviously as well, but Kiwi Swiss at support. Euro Kiwi's got a little bit more room to the upside to be had. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.